In part 4, we're going to look at some other Excel essentials, and this section is going to focus on importing data from outside of Excel to use. Now, if there's another Excel file, you can open it up in Excel, but Excel is very handy to use with data that are not in Excel formats. And in this part of the lesson, we're going to work with a text file, .txt, and in the homework, you're going to work with a .csv, a comma delimited file, and they behave very much the same. The Excel, of course, has extension .xlsx, and so we can open up different file formats with Excel. So here's the Brightspace. You already hopefully have your workbook open, the Learn 4 workbook. Here's this census data that we're going to look at, and I'm going to save it. And just to show you, it's a text document. So if I save it and open it, it's going to look like this, very messy, not formatted like Excel at all. And Excel will be able to import this file and make it look pretty. So I'm going to my I'm going to this Excel Learn 4 Excel document, and we have here a tab that's blank that says State Taxes. I have also some codes, and we're going to import the data from that text file into this sheet. Okay, so we are going to import data. So you go to the Data tab, and we're going to get data. You can get data of lots of different types. You can get, we're going to go from text. That's what our data is. On the homework, you'll be doing a CSV. So you can go there, or you can just click here. But we're going to open up from text, and I have it on the desktop. And let's see, here we go. I found it. Let's import it. Let's bring it into Excel. And it's going to show me some things. And when you import data, it's never perfect. Like, never is probably appropriate there. Like, you always have to do some cleanup. Here we see at least that the states are going to be, they're across the top. This is the US, so everybody together. There are these items, which are tax codes, but it took that text file and it looked for where it was a comma. So the delimiter is a comma, and it made it a new column. If we look, if you go back and look at that text file, you'll see that it's full of commas. And so wherever it saw a comma as the delimiter, it put a new column, which is very common. You can change the delimiter to different types of things, but our file has a comma. So let's load this data. And there we go. And it loads in as an Excel table that we discussed in the last unit. And so you can, it has these filters built in. Now this is very, this is a little bit too much for us, as we're going to play with the formatting of this data. And so I want to make this so that it's not this formal Excel table. So remember up here, there's a table design tab that pops up when you're in a table. So if I click outside of the table, that button is gone. But when I click in the table, the design tab is there. I want to convert it back to just a range, not a table, just a range that doesn't have all the filters. So I'm going to convert to range, and it's going to tell me it's taking away the table structure. So there we go. And That's exactly what I want. Now, I also want to get rid of all the formatting because I just want to look at the simple data. So I'm going to select everything and I want to clear the formatting. I want to keep the data but clear the formatting. So I'll come over here to clear. I don't want to clear all. I just want to clear the formatting. Okay. Now we see that there's like some little warnings here. Let me look at one of them. So I'm going to click there and it says, oh no, this is stored as a text. Do we want it to be a number? And yes, we want these to be a number. So the simplest way to do this is to highlight the entire table that includes those errors. And then go back to the top left one and click on that and convert to number. And when you do it with the whole table highlighted for the upper left one, it will fix everything. And so now it has all of these numbers as numbers. Now it has some X's, which is stored as text if there is no data. And so there are some X's, but there are mostly numbers. Okay, I think just to make things simpler for me, I'm going to center everything. I like to see things centered. Okay, now these numbers are very messy, so I think I'm going to add some delimiters. So I'm going to format everything. We'll format everything with the comma. And there's no decimal places there. And so now these numbers are a little bit more readable. I think the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to notice that sometimes there's an X where there is no data. And I would like to make that just a blank. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you try to get rid of the X's and just make it a blank. And I'm going to pick up with that in the next video and see how you did.